So here on the workstation, I have a variety of different cables set out. This is what you'll find in your cable kit, as well as some additional cables, some extra ones. But let's just go over them. So just to familiarize ourselves with what the cables are, this is referred to as a micro grabber. I'm going to bring it up close to the screen. And the way it works is that there is essentially a little plunger here that I can press, and a small hook emerges, right? And what that small hook allows me to do, I'm going to go ahead and bring out a resistor here as an example. I can grab on to a small wire, right? I depress that, press it around, and then let go, and it holds on to that part. It's a little hard to focus there, the video's having a hard time. But essentially that allows me to make a quick grab onto one part of the circuit. Now, how is that used? The other end of this is referred to as a banana plug, and that can make a connection to the multimeter or the DC power supply, right? Depending on what I want to do. If I'm trying to supply power, DC power, to a part of the circuit, then I would connect that into the power supply. If I was trying to make a voltage measurement or a resistance measurement of some sort, then I would connect that to the multimeter. So that's what's referred to as a banana plug to micro grabber. Now this one also has two micro grabber ends, but on this end is a BNC type connection. So a BNC type connection allows you to make a very secure connection to the oscilloscope or the function generator. And generally this type of connector you're going to use on the function generator. The reason being is that it has a positive and a negative end. That's what you need in order to create a circuit. You need a positive and a negative. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look here on my 2-channel function generator and notice that the BNC connector has two small little poles sticking out to the top and bottom, two small little prongs. I'm going to line the holes up with that and then turn this 90 degrees, and I'm going to feel it lock in place. So now it's made a secure connection. We'll go over the function generator at another time, how to use it, but then I would use these leads as the positive and negative. I could apply that to any part of my circuit and apply the function there wherever I want it. This is what's referred to as a passive oscilloscope probe. It uses also a BNC type connector, right? So you would make that connection on the oscilloscope, but on this end you have, similar to the micro grabber, you have this little plunger, a hook emerges that you can place that around a wire, and then you connect this alligator clip here to your reference, to ground. So that allows you to make a measurement with the oscilloscope. Again, we'll cover the oscilloscope functionalities later, but for now, let's just get familiar with what the cables do. So this, we've already gone over the banana plugs. This is normally what you'd use with the DC power supply. So this is a banana plug to banana plug connection. And what you'd want to do in this case, and you'll do this often if you're working in just your circuits class or maybe digital logic, is you would make a jump from your power supply, one of the channels, say channel 1, and you're going to jump it to that point on the breadboard, and it just slides right in. And then you are going to take the negative, the black cable here, and connect it to ground, right? Now, of course, the color doesn't matter. You just maintain a convention that makes it useful for you, that makes it easy to keep track of what you're doing. You may use additional channels, and there may be a lot of wires running around as you go through your labs, so just be mindful of that. The colors don't matter, it's just for you to keep track of what you're doing. From there, after you've made that connection, then you would make a jump with jumper wires. So you use standard jumper wires. You'd make a jump from those points onto your breadboard. Now, one thing to note is that you want to have a good metal-to-metal contact. So there's a small amount of wire there at the end that's exposed. You want to make sure that you place your wire in contact with the metal little plates that are below this little turn screw here. So you open it up, then you clamp it all the way down. You want to make sure you have a metal to metal contact, right? So this is my negative, and I make a connection on the negative power rail for my breadboard. And I'm going to do the same thing with the positive. Again, the color of the wire doesn't matter. That's just to maintain a convention. And clamp it down and connect it on the positive side. So that's how you would use a banana to banana plug normally. We'll leave that aside there. Oddly enough, this is also technically a banana plug. It looks a little bit different because it has this shroud, but inside it's making the same type of connection. This is a multimeter test lead. Now this doesn't have really anything special about it. It's just a wire, but you're gonna go ahead and just plug it in. Suppose you were making a resistance measurement or a voltage measurement and you wanna do it very quickly, right? You would plug that in, and you would also have your negative plugged in, of course. And from your reference to wherever you wanna make a voltage measurement, you would apply the end there, the exposed end, and you would be able to make a voltage measurement. Again, we'll cover that when we cover the multimeter, but just to become familiar with the wires. So what have we covered? This is a BNC to BNC connection. You'll often use it to make a connection between the function generator and the oscilloscope, just to, if you need to verify that the function that you have between the two channels is working. Very simple to use. And let's see. And of course you can modify the cables a little bit. In some of your kits you may have BNC to BNC, but then at the end of a connection you can put this BNC to alligator clips, right? So it modifies a cable that you already have a little bit, so that it makes it easier for you to use it on a circuit. Now you could use this totally interchangeably with your normal BNC to micro grabber. You're just using alligator clips instead. For the purposes of your experiments, it's not going to modify the results. Some people prefer to use the micro grabbers, some people would rather use alligator clips, but they are essentially interchangeable. So that was just to cover the cables that you would use in your lab and that are present in your cable kit.